Welcome to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm your host, Stan, the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states. Today's topic is hidden truths and facts about fixed indexed annuities. Now, we get a lot of calls about this because people are getting the sales pitch that sounds too good to be true because it is. We have nothing against indexed annuities. A little history on indexed annuities, the hidden truths and facts. We're starting early. Um, Indexed annuities were put on the planet in 1995 to compete with CD returns. In other words, the hope and the goal of the structure and the strategy was to get a couple more percentage points than a CD. And they've done in that range. Okay, they're not market products. I think one of the biggest fallacies is how they're sold. As some of the catchphrases are market upside with no downside. Um, you know, Market upside with principal protection, all the little nuanced things that sound too good to be true because they are. They're not market products. These are fixed annuities. They're issued by life insurance companies. They're regulated at the state level. They are not securities. They're not regulated by FINRA or the SEC. So it's kind of the wild, wild west, unfortunately, with a lot of the sales pitches, not all. But if you go to the seminars and the expensive steak dinner seminars, most of the time, it's a one size fits all, one carrier approach, trying to sell one product to everybody, which is insane. It's like a doctor holding a seminar and trying to sell one medication to everybody in the room. Everyone's different. People either need annuities or don't need annuities. But indexed annuities, I think, are the current go-go product and popular product in the industry because it has the highest commission. In all commissions with annuities, plural, all types are built in and hidden from the client, which I'm not sure I like, but it's the rule. But it is the highest. It is the highest commission. It's the one that if you sell enough of it, you go on the trip to Italy or Bora Bora or France or whatever with your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, whatever applies. Those incentives went away in the securities industry in 2003, I believe, and I wish they'd go away in the annuity industry as well, but they have not. The annuity industry, life insurance lobby is pretty strong on the Hill. So I doubt if that's going to happen. So a couple more facts and hidden things about index annuities you need to know. The indexed option strategies on the accumulation value. And that's the one, if you're probably breathing with a bank account, someone's tried to pitch you one. It's the one that has the caps and the spreads and the participation rates, all these foreign things you never heard of. What those are levers that the life insurance company that's issuing the index annuity use to limit the upside. They're for profit. Remember, they're trying to do CD returns a little bit better. But I think there might be even more, but let's just keep it as I'm pretty confident there's more than 750 choices. Think about that. 750 index choices. In my opinion, you could throw a dart at all of them and you'd be okay. And it's because they're all kind of designed to get the same return anyway, in most cases. The other thing that you want to know, there's over 50 or more index choices. And you're like, wait a minute, Stan, there's S&P, there's Russell, and you can count them on your hand. I think one of the issues with the index annuity space, what's happening too often, the carriers will do what's I call an algorithmic back test. In other words, they'll create an algorithm to go look for a return with a basket of investments. Once they find that return that looks great, but yet it's hypothetical, not guaranteed, then they will name that index, attach it to an indexed annuity, and then the salesperson unfortunately might say, well, if you'd owned it 10 years ago, this would be your return. Unfortunately, it's been around about 3 months. So a lot of states are starting to disallow that kind of back testing, but combine this, you have 50 plus indices to choose from. You have 750 index option choices. And then on top of that, at the time of this taping, most index options are a year in length, but there are some that are 2 years in length and 3 years in length and 4 years in length and 5 years. So that gets even more complicated. Majority of them at the time of this taping, you lock in on the anniversary date. So you're kind of slave to the date, but some of the longer term ones will allow you to lock in whenever you want to lock in. which just adds to the confusion, in my opinion. As a side note, at the Annuity Man, we typically 99% of the time use indexed annuities as a very cost-effective and efficient delivery system for income riders, which is a contractually guaranteed income that you can attach at the time of application to the policy. So that's, if you go to my site at theannuityman.com, you'll see income rider quotes. You won't see index annuity quotes because there's nothing to quote. I mean, there's nothing. And the reason I say that is getting back to the caps and the spreads and the participation rates. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, I've done videos on that. I've written an indexed annuity owner's manual you can get for free at my site at The Annuity Man. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, I've done it. But the way that the indexed option is structured is that it's a year in length in most cases. Okay, so let's start with that one. I always tell people, let's just say you bought a 10-year fixed index annuity, standalone for growth. Unfortunately, you bought it for growth. It's not a growth product. And you know what the cap and the spread, the participation is from the start. The problem with that is that you really own a 1-year guarantee you'll own a 1-year guarantee with a 10-year surrender charge, because the annuity industry can change the terms of the cap and the spread and the participation rate at the anniversary date. Now, there's all kinds of sales pitches and renewal rate histories and all that stuff. But the bottom line is the annuity industry kind of has you, from the standpoint of what it's going to be. I've seen some rugs pulled out from people where, there was a 7% cap and then year 2, there's 2. We've seen that. And I'm not against the annuity companies. They're a for-profit business. They got to do what they've got to do. But it leads me back to never buy indexed annuities for growth. You should buy them for principal protection first, okay? Then CD type return second, and then third, what we use it for, which is the attachment of an income rider if you need income in the future. And we like index annuities using it that way because at the end of the surrender charge time period, if you don't need the income and things have changed in your life or you just don't want to do it anymore, you can get all your money back on whatever that accumulation value has grown to. But it's very, very complicated. The index side can be very, very complicated. I always joke that I know 5 people, that I know 5 people that fully understand index annuity, options. I'm one of them. I think I know the other 4, but I'm one of them. But if you can't explain it to a 9-year-old, don't buy it. No offense to 9-year-olds. So the other thing about the indexed annuity, it kind of became popular in that 2008 debacle back then, because people were shell shocked. It was a perfect time to introduce the product. It's just been overhyped, in my opinion, by too many agents, because it is a high commission product, and it's a good story. If you're not telling the total truth, if you give them the 30,000-foot view, it's a really good story. You get upfront bonus, you get market upside with no downside, you get free long-term care, and you get a lifetime income. Let's break that down. The upfront bonus is candy for the stupid. Buying an index annuity for upfront bonus is like buying a brand new car for the stereo system. There's 100 pennies in the dollar. That should be irrelevant to your decision. You should quote all carriers to see who provides the highest contractual guarantee, whether it has a bonus or not. So that's kind of a nebulous, overpitched part. The market upside with no downside is completely wrong and borderline fraudulent, because they were put on the planet in 1995 to compete with CD returns. The third thing, they say, well, you get free long-term care. No, you don't. It's confinement care. Long-term care is its own product. And long-term care, pure long-term care, is a health insurance product with very good tax benefits, but it is nowhere to be found inside of an indexed annuity. And then the only truth of that 4-part sales pitch is the lifetime income with the income rider. But if that's what you're trying to go do, then shop all carriers, go to our site and just shop all income riders for the highest contractual guarantee. There is no one size fits all. That's the kind of the hidden truth about index annuities. It's not a one size fits all product. You need to solve for goals specifically. Annuities solve for 4 things: principal protection, income for life, legacy, and long-term care. If you don't need to solve for one or more of those, then you don't need an annuity, and you don't buy a product that tries to solve for them all. you take one of the goals and then you shop for that carrier that provides the highest contractual guarantee for one of those items in the pill. If it's lifetime income, go shop lifetime income products. If it's principal protection, go shop principal protection products. Never, again, the upfront bonus is nonsense. And then the index option side, that's so complicated. I had a guy call me the other day. He said, you sent me the specimen policy on which we will do, on the index annuity, and all of the explanations were these complicated math problems with letters in them. I said, yeah, that's calculus. I mean, it's very high level stuff of which they can change the rules. At the time of this taping, we have yet to be approached and be shown an indexed annuity that, between myself, my management team, the consultants I hire outside, that we deem appropriate to recommend for accumulation value. We just pretty much use it as, and love this, as an efficient, principal protected, cost-effective way to provide income riders and future lifetime income streams starting at a future date. So that, we love them for that, but they are very, very complicated. They're presented as too good to be true. But those are some of the facts that you probably didn't know. 1995, they were introduced. Over 750 index option choices, over 50 indices, index choices. Oh, and the other thing you need to know about the index is those don't include dividends. So if you're a market student, you understand that over 50% of the return of the S&P 500 index are dividend based, and so there's no dividends with these index. And then the other thing, just really be careful. Upfront bonus, you just have to be smarter than that. There's 100 pennies in the dollar, and you just can't. Just think of the analogy I gave you, walking through a car dealership and they're telling you about the transmission and the V6 and whatever. You're like, I don't care anything about that. I just want to hear the stereo system. That's how stupid it is to make a decision on an upfront bonus. And it's also revealing if an agent or advisor keeps talking about the upfront bonus. It's a shiny thing. It's a distraction. I wish companies would do away with it, but I understand it's a capitalistic market. They're trying to attract all of you 13 to 15,000 boomers that are hitting 65 every single day. I get it. But the other thing, and I'll close with this, index annuities, nothing wrong with them. You just got to know the facts. Again, you can get my book. You can watch all the videos I've done on them. You can talk to us and schedule a call, but they are not too good to be true. The sales pitch, if you could really get market upside with no downside consistently, that's what Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley would buy. And spoiler alert, having worked there and in New York, they're not buying those. So it's one of those things where I feel like the consumer's getting taken advantage of. And that's the reason that I do these videos. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just trying to warn you that these products aren't going to do what you want them to do. And if you buy the dream, you're going to own the contractual reality, which means that if you're going to buy them, buy the contractual reality. That's pretty much it when it comes to fixed index annuities. My name is Stan, the Annuity Man. That's Shooting It Straight with Stan. Hope this helped. We'll see you next time.